My name is Cesar Chávez. I was born on March 31st, 1927, in Yuma, Arizona, on my grandfather's small farm. Back then, I didn't know what injustice meant, but I knew how it felt. When the Great Depression hit, we lost our land. I watched my family be forced off our farm, our home. From that moment on, we became migrant farm workers, moving from place to place, following the crops, surviving. I was just a boy when I started working in the fields, stooping, bending, picking cotton, grapes, lettuce. It was long, back-breaking work for pennies. There were no breaks, no clean water, no bathrooms. If you spoke up, you were fired. If you organized, you were hard beaten, and no one seemed to care. I only made it through 8th grade. I had to drop out to help my family full-time. But life was my classroom. I learned about courage, dignity, and sacrifice from my mother, who always told us to treat every person with respect, no matter how poor they were. She would give food to people even when we barely had enough for ourselves. In 1946, I joined the Navy and served for 2 years. When I came home, the fields were waiting for me. But so was something else, a growing fire inside me. I couldn't accept that we were treated like machines instead of human beings. I started reading. I studied Gandhi. I listened to the teachings of Catholic social justice. I believed there had to be a better way. In 1962, I founded the National Farm Workers Association, what would become the United Farm Workers, the UFW. We started small, just a few dozen workers, many of them Mexican and Filipino, willing to stand together. We didn't have money or power, but we had each other, and we had our voices. The growers didn't take us seriously until we stopped picking their grapes. In 1965, we launched the Delano Grape Strike, a peaceful protest that would last 5 years. We marched, we organized, we fasted. I went without food for 25 days once, not to punish anyone, but to remind our people that nonviolence was the only way. Fasting was my form of prayer, of discipline, of love. We asked America to boycott grapes, to stand with us by refusing to buy the very fruit that came from our suffering. And people listened. Churches, students, unions, they joined us. Little by little, the tide began to turn. We weren't just fighting for better wages. We were fighting for dignity, for toilets in the fields, for clean drinking water, for protection from dangerous pesticides, for the right to be treated like human beings, not tools to be used and thrown away. And we won. In 1970, the grape growers signed contracts with the union. It was the first time in U.S. history that farm workers won union recognition and legal rights. It was a victory, not just for us, but for working people everywhere. But the struggle never really ended. We kept organizing. Lettuce workers, tomato pickers, orange groves. Every time we gained ground, someone tried to take it back. But we stood firm, because we knew that the poorest among us still deserved justice. I never took a salary of more than $5,000 a year. I lived in the same simple house for decades. My life wasn't about comfort. It was about purpose. I believed deeply in la causa, the cause. It wasn't just about labor. It was about human rights. It was about believing that the people who feed the nation deserve to live with dignity and hope. I was not a perfect man. I made mistakes. But I never wavered in my belief that nonviolence and unity could change the world. On April 23rd, 1993, I passed away quietly in my sleep. But even in death, I hope to be a reminder that ordinary people working together can do extraordinary things. They said we were weak. They said we were too poor. They said we would never win. But we had faith. We had each other. And we had a voice that refused to be silenced. Sí, se puede. Yes, it can be done. That wasn't just a slogan. It was a promise. To the workers, to the dreamers, to all those still fighting for justice. My name is Cesar Chávez, and the struggle continues.